So last year, we talked about how our long-term goal was to help get 1 billion people into virtual reality. So let's start off by checking in on how that's going. All right. Now, we have the saying at Facebook that the journey is 1% finished. And in this case, maybe not even quite. But I'm confident that we're going to get there, because just imagine all the ways that being able to feel really present with someone, no matter where they are, imagine all the ways that that's going to change how we communicate, how we game, how we work, almost every category of what we do. Now, I bet that almost every person here has had the experience of introducing someone to VR for the first time. And you've seen how people just can't stop smiling. Right? They're giddy. They don't want to come out. You know, that it's clear that this sensation of presence is a new kind of digital experience. And we're getting closer and closer to being able to easily step between physical and virtual worlds. So for me, this isn't a question of whether we're going to get there, it's how. Or what is the exact roadmap? What are the exact next steps we need to take on the path there? And now, I think that we all need to focus on solving two important problems next. So the first is that we need to build an ecosystem that's self-sustaining, right? Where developers can afford to, well, and we're back. All right, wonderful. The first problem we need to solve is getting the microphone to work. Assuming we can do that, then we are on to the second problem, which is building an ecosystem which is self-sustaining, where developers can afford to build high-quality experiences because there are enough people who are using these platforms who are going to pay for the content. Now, I guess the second or the third problem, if you will, is that we need to build a product with a form factor that is comfortable, that you can take with you anywhere you go, and that is powerful enough to run any experience we want. So, all right, let's go talk about the ecosystem first. All right, so right now, there are thousands of titles for VR. There's everything from art to social VR to live music. It's a broad enough range, so if you have a cousin who's into dinosaurs, or a grandma who's into strategy games, who is an awesome grandma, then there's going to be something for them in VR. But right now, a lot of this is indie development. Right? A lot of it is still funded directly by us to help get the ecosystem started. Some of it is big studios exploring, even if it's not profitable yet. So the big question is, what is it going to take for it to be profitable for all developers to build these kind of large efforts for VR? And to get to that level, we think that we need about 10 million people on a given platform. Right? So that's the threshold where the number of people using and buying VR content makes it sustainable and profitable for all kinds of developers. And once we get to and cross this threshold, then we think that the content and the ecosystem are just going to explode. Now, importantly, this threshold isn't 10 million people across all different types of VR, because if you build a game for Rift, it doesn't necessarily work on Go or PlayStation. Right? So we need 10 million people on each platform. So with this in mind, we're now directing our roadmap so that future versions of the products that we build are going to be compatible with the current ones. So when we release the new version of Rift, which isn't today, by the way, all of the content that works for Rift is going to work on that next version too. So this means that every generation of what we build is going to build towards this threshold. And once we get there, we think that the content and the activity in the ecosystem is just going to really take off. All right. Now, in addition to the ecosystem, we also have to make progress on the form factor. Now, if we're building products that are going to run similar content across generations, then that means that we need to lock in certain key decisions now, like what the input is going to be. Right? So that way those things can be consistent over time. So we need to ask, what are the key attributes of the ideal VR system that we want to lock in now? We've talked to a lot of people in the community, people who use Rift and Go and all the other VR devices, and we think that there are a few key qualities that any VR system that gets to scale needs to have. So first, it needs to be standalone. It's that way there are no wires. Yeah. That way there are no wires that are going to break your feeling of presence or anything like that, and you're going to be able to take it with you. All right, second, it's got to support hands, right? Because that's going to be how we interact with people and objects in a natural way in virtual reality. And third, it has to offer 6 degrees of freedom. So you can not just walk around or look around, but you can also walk around and move through a virtual space just like you would in a physical one. Right? So if we can bring these 3 qualities together into one product, then we think that that is the foundation for the ideal form factor for VR. So we've been working on this for years now. And at Connect, for the past couple of years, you've heard me talk about Project Santa Cruz. And today, we have some news for you. I am excited to announce Oculus Quest. It is shipping in the spring, and it is going to cost $399. This is it. This is the all-in-one VR experience that we have been waiting for. It's wireless, it's got hand presence, 6 degrees of freedom, and it runs Rift quality experiences. Full inside-out tracking, full freedom to move around, no cables, no external sensors, just really good positional tracking. It's got adjustable fit, so it's comfortable to wear with glasses. It's got built-in 360 audio, even better than what we shipped with Oculus Go, even without headphones. And it is shipping with touch controllers to deliver the same hand presence that you get with Rift. Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of you who gave us feedback on this, because you might know that when we started working on this, we were actually planning on building a different input device. But because we got so much feedback that the input should be the same as Rift, we went with touch. And now we're doing even more work to bring these ecosystems closer together over time. And by shipping with touch, we're going to be able to work with all of you to bring a lot of the most successful games from Rift to Oculus Quest, including Robo Recall, The Climb, and Moss, just to name a few. And we're going to have more than 50 titles available for Oculus Quest at launch. So this thing is, it's just wonderful. All right, you're all going to be able to try it out right here at OC5. And some of the experiences are just really amazing. You can play tennis. We have a tennis court set up, so you have one person on one side on the tennis court playing and another person on the other side in the living room, and you can see how the experience just scales up and down nicely with the amount of space that you have available. You see the ball coming, you run towards it. You see your hand, you hit it, you get haptic feedback. It's awesome. You're going to be able to play dead and buried out there. It's basically like playing paintball. You get to run around with your friends, ducking behind virtual objects, except no physical welts. So that's better. All right, so this is all set up, and you're going to be able to try all this stuff out right after this keynote today. Now, with Oculus Quest, we will complete our first generation of VR products. So there's Oculus Go, the most affordable way to experience VR for the first time. There's Oculus Quest, the all-in-one VR experience that we've been waiting for. And there is Rift, for experiences that need a PC to push the edge of what's possible. So from here, we're going to make some big leaps in both tech and content for the future generations of each of these products. We're going to build each of these as platforms, so everything that you build for them today is going to work on future versions of these devices. This is all still early, but this is the basic roadmap. This is what we need to do for VR to succeed and to get to the future that we all want. Now, the next few years are going to be a really exciting time for VR and AR, and I'm really excited to see what we all build together. So as always, thank you all for coming out to OC5. It is great to be on this journey with you.